Welcome back to Big Mama's house, y'all. I'm sitting here this evening with Big Papa or Papa Bubbles,
Hi, y'all.
and we're just wanting to catch up with you guys, let you know what we've been up to. We finally got to see Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
Yep, really good.
I was disappointed a little bit because, and I know Tiger agrees with me, it wasn't what I was expecting from the previous two movies. I thought it started out completely wrong. Like it just threw you out there whenever everybody's just a mess, you know?
Yeah, there was no build up.
No, it was just like boom in your face, everything sucks.
Yeah.
And then I am okay, by the way, y'all, spoilers. Spoilers. If you have not seen it, please skip ahead. But yeah, the we had been hearing lots of rumors that someone died or multiple characters died, and thankfully that didn't happen.
We had some deaths, but not
Not
Guardians.
Yeah, not I'm talking about them.
Yeah.
Um and we knew right away that Adam was going to be a new character, at least I did. You could tell. Um I don't know. I don't know if it's because the last one for a lot of them, most of them probably, since evidently at the very end it said that the Star Lord will return, but
Star Wars.
not Guardians. And I mean, I'm really glad for some of the backstory. Rocket
Mm-hmm.
and well, that was basically Rocket movie, the whole thing.
Rocket Man.
Um,
Badger.
the rabbit.
The rabbit. The badger.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just maybe you know me. I don't like it when things end, so maybe that's part of it for me. What about you?
I liked it. Let me tell you why. I liked it because none of our people died.
And that
You
I
know,
was very happily surprised. We were on pins and needles till the end, thinking somebody's gonna die.
and
'Cause
then
that's
we
the
get,
rumors we had heard.
yeah. And I don't want to spoil anything, but well, nobody died. The gold lady died. Adam's mom.
She's not a major character,
She's not.
and she's an asshole anyway.
And I didn't think Adam was going to be part of the Guardians because when they promoted the movie, they made him be the next baddie.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like, the next baddie. Next.
But I told you Howard of the movie, I bet he's gonna replace Drax
I still can't see him
as the
anything.
big, dumb, strong character.
I still can't see him anything other than and We're the Millers. He's still that dumb kid in the RV.
Yeah, you said that many times,
Yep.
but
Yep.
he's grown up into a full man and he got in pretty decent shape for this movie.
Yeah. Well, he had to.
Yeah. Well, they all did.
Yeah.
Look at Chris Pratt before these movies.
Yeah. Yeah. He was the the sidekick basically.
Oh,
Chris
yeah.
Pratt was
The funny sidekick.
the funny fat sidekick. Well, he was back in the day, but now he's a leading man. Chris Pratt and Drax, Batista. He was not shirtless in any of the movie, so
But
he got
you know
his
what?
he got his wish. He got his wish.
That, no one else goes around half naked. So it's like, why should he have to? And especially like being a man in his 50s, you know, your body changes, all that your hormones change, and it is so much harder for anyone that age to stay that fat free
Yep.
and that huge with the muscles. I mean, he would have. I know people like Hugh Jackman, who plays Wolverine.
He gets up and
He gets jacked, like huge monster. And then as soon as the movie is over, he's like, fuck all that.
He
And goes
wasn't
back
that-
to normal.
he wasn't that big in The Greatest Showman.
Well, no, when we love that movie too,
Yes,
boy.
we did.
But it's like, why would they expect, him to have to say that level of ripped,
Yeah.
And so I mean, don't get me wrong, it did seem a little strange because something was irking, like niggling at the back of my mind, like the first 30 minutes of the movie, and or maybe it was the first hour, and then I went, he's wearing clothes, and I looked at you, and you were like, oh yeah, he is.
Didn't even notice it. Yeah, they really didn't.
But I knew there was something different, and I just couldn't. But it didn't take away from anything, And so I just did. I hope he comes back if he's able to, not be
He's in his
supersized.
what, late 50s? Dave Batista.
Is he just?
He was in his 40s when he started wrestling in WWE. He was in his 40s.
Yeah, I don't know how old he
So
is.
he's
off the
probably
top of my
late
head.
50s, I would imagine. I mean,
Well,
I'll
let's
have to
say
look that up.
mid to late, just
Mid to late 50s.
just to be
okay.
kind.
Mid to late. But I mean, the age means nothing. Age is just a number. I mean, you can be in your 50s and still be jacked up and still look like you're in your 30s.
Well, it's like Hugh Jackman said that he would never play Wolverine again because he just couldn't imagine trying to get in that shape again at his age.
And
You
then
know?
Ryan Reynolds talked him into it. Good old Deadpool.
Yep. And we love Deadpool too.
Yeah,
If you hadn't noticed, we're big Marvel fans, and I know
We weren't at the beginning.
Wolverine is DC though, right?
Wolverine, no, X-Men is Marvel.
Is it?
Mhm.
Okay, so I'm not all nerdy knowing every single thing about everything, but
Black Adam is DC. That's the Rock.
yeah,
We don't care about that.
no, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Sorry to all you DC fans. I apologize. We are not dissing them. It's just not our particular cup of tea. But we do like some of the characters, like again, Superman, Batman, the huge,
We just want to give a shout out to the DC comics,
Yeah.
for the fans too, because our kids like DC also.
Well, they like all that
They like.
melodrama, sadness.
They'd rather have the comics though than with the movie.
Yes, yes.
Blizzard would rather have the comics.
What else about it? I was a little baffled by the music because the
Yeah.
music was always from the tapes that his mother gave him, and I realized that once things they started exploring the universe, they found that little music player or whatever, but to me, the first couple of movies affected it was like the stuff his mom gave him. And there were awesome songs too,
Yeah, 80s.
but they were more 70s, right? Because that's whenever he was a kid and
It was
before his mom died.
like late 70s, early 80s. But the songs that were in this one were more like 90s. I think Creep was even later than that, right? Because the opening song is
That was another
Creep.
big thing. I think it might have been the first F-bomb in a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Now, they cut out the F in Creep.
In the Creep song.
They said instead of so fucking special, they said so very special.
Yeah, like the karaoke version.
But then, as soon as the song is over, like a minute later, Chris Pratt is his character, Star-Lord, F-bombs. And I'm like, well, why the hell did they cut it out of the song then? That made no sense. Except the fact that they wanted that to be...
They're getting more risque because of the whole Deadpool genre. I mean, I watched Deadpool 1 and 2 on Disney Plus, and they didn't cut nothing out.
No.
Nothing at all.
Nor
Nothing.
should they. It's their movies.
True, but I mean...
And there are...
Disney isn't Disney anymore. Disney's not like the same old Disney or your mom and dad's Disney back in the day.
Well, yeah, it's not just Cinderella and...
It's not that no more, no. I mean, it still is, but I mean, I think they're leaning more towards...
Well, they know that
tweens and adults.
Those kids that grew up on them are our age.
Yeah.
And that, we are a market that they need to hit up for money.
I really don't want to see anything bad about Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck, though.
No.
I don't want to see them go all, rated R or nothing
not
like that.
like Howard the Duck.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that they always... because I'm a huge nerd for Howard the Duck. And one of my all-time favorite movies. And he's always in there. And I'm just like, wee!
Spoiler alert, he was in there for 30 seconds in this last one, Guardians.
I don't know, but Howard can't be killed.
Well, no, he's not gonna be. He was just playing cards or something, wasn't he?
Mm-hmm. But still, I mean, they show him in it.
Yeah. That's the second one they showed him.
I think the first one, he was only in those end credits.
Well, yeah, he was in, I think...
He was in space talking
yeah, it was like a credit scene or something.
With the big alien dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing at the second one. He was just kind of like a little flyby thing.
But he's only in the Guardians, we noticed. He's not in
because
the
he's
other Marvels.
Not on Earth. He's nowhere.
On the planet nowhere.
Yes.
Exactly, yeah.
And so I'm wondering if is that how Deadpool is going to get involved with the rest of them? Because now, spoiler,
he's not in space.
Star-Lord is supposed to be coming to Earth, and that's where they meet up.
In Deadpool 3, it's just supposed to be Deadpool and Wolverine.
Oh, really?
All right, but I mean, they're still going to have like those other X-Men characters, like the teenage girls that were in the Deadpool 2.
Yeah.
But they're supposed to be in it. I'm not sure about. I think there's supposed to be more X-Men that's in it. I did read some spoilers. I mean, they're just right now making it. It's not coming out till 2024, so we'll find out more
Yeah.
with between now and then. But
I think it would still be cool if Chris Pratt showed up in there somewhere.
maybe an
'Cause
end credit scene. Maybe. I don't think they're just gonna have him for like just a 10-second cameo.
no, but it would be cool if he was in there somewhere because he's on Earth with them now,
Yeah, yeah.
or will be
He
anyway.
must be the only one who wants to come back because I think the rest of them are just went off their own little way at the end of that movie.
I don't understand. These movies not only brought all of them from relative obscurity, but made them a ton of money. It's like, like, where's the loyalty to the fans who brought you to where you
Maybe
are?
maybe they didn't. Maybe the directors and the writers didn't want them back. Maybe they want to go to a different direction. And the only one they wanted to bring back was Star Lord.
I know,
See, I
but
don't know any of that. I don't know any of that news, so I don't know.
I just I don't like it when they break up a good crew. It bothers me, and I think they do it sometimes just for to change it up and keep people interested. But for people like me, I watch it for the
Yeah,
group, and I love the dynamic between them all. But I really do enjoy. I did enjoy in this movie the way that it showed growth in the characters. You know, like Mantis finally stood up for herself.
yeah. She changed. She evolved.
And Drax did not want to be the destroyer anymore. And
We're not gonna do any more spoilers about Drax because that's pretty interesting at the end there.
Rocket, found a family.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then I don't, Gamora is just a damn mess, but
What is Gamora's sister's name? I can never think of her. She's like the metal, lady. I can never think of her name. They don't really say it much, but she's also evolved
oh yes,
to like a. She really starts. She loves them really. Yeah, she's.
I think that her and
Fuck 'em up.
Star Lord could be a thing.
Well, you almost were. I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but towards the middle there,
We thought maybe,
we thought maybe, yeah.
and then Star Lord, he got to where he wanted to see if his grandpa was still alive and find out what happened, like more of the family and reconnect with them, even though always said he didn't want to.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just, I love the character progression. It's just, I'm not looking forward to the next one because it's just not going to be the same.
I mean, who knows? By the time they do a Star Lord movie, they might want to have a couple of them back. Maybe Rocket will be back, or maybe, I like
Get in
that.
trouble and have to call him in for an assist.
I like that one guy with the mohawk that was
Oh, with the
Blue Man.
Ravager?
Yeah, the one I don't know his name because I don't think you say it very often.
No.
But yeah, Ravager, I like him. I really do. I think he should have a bigger part in one of these movies instead of just a sidekick.
I think a Ravager movie could be cool, especially if they kept Stallone in it.
If Stallone was like if Stallone was like the lead,
Yeah.
Ravager, that would be awesome.
Maybe not even the lead, but like you said, follow the one crew, and then now they always get in trouble, and Stallone has to either give them hell or help them out.
Yeah. Or Gamora's a Ravager now,
I know, and I hate that.
so they could have a Gamora movie, and have.
And I hope that's not what they're doing. They're splitting them up just so they can do individual movies, and
It doesn't work for DC. It's not going to work for Marvel.
I don't think so. I mean, I know we're all desperate for our Marvel movies, but they're not the Guardians of the Galaxy if they're not together.
Nope.
That's just how I feel. I don't know. Y'all may disagree with me. So we were just talking a little bit about how Rocket got a family, and that every time we see cute animals on TV or movies or whatever, we always look at our babies, our little furry people,
Yeah.
and go, "Aw," and makes us think about them. Like Molly May is scratching my leg right now because she's desperate to be in my lap, but I'm doing something. You got, wait a minute. So we wanted to tell you a little bit about each of our pets because you will be seeing quite a lot of them if you watch the videos a segment on Spotify and YouTube. So you will get to see them up close and personal. We're going to go in the Wayback Machine and talk about how they all came to be.
Well, I mean, we could go even further, but as far as for us and our family, our pets, we're going to start there.
Okay.
Right? With first our first pet, okay, Dude. Our cat named Dude.
Dude was the cat of my younger brother's girlfriend, and for some reason she couldn't keep it or whatever. And they were like, "Oh, she's so good. She's spayed. You don't got to worry about anything." Well, we had her for a little while, and I don't know if she was just unhappy with the switching home situation or whatever, but she liked to leave us little brown gifts in random places.
Yes.
And one day,
I actually forgot about that.
she pooped on my youngest lizard's pillow on her bed. And I lost my mind.
How old was Lizard then? Like 3, 4?
2 or 3.
Yeah, she was baby.
And I was like, this disgusting animal has feces on my baby's bed.
And didn't Lizard say, throw her out, throw him out, whatever?
And so I did. I took her and I threw her outside. Now, we live in the country, okay? And there was a giant garage so she could go in. She was not left to the elements. We fed her outside, all that stuff. But I just needed to, teach her a lesson. Well, after I calmed down, I tried to get her to come back, and she
Just
was...
a couple days, wasn't it?
Well, no, it was later that day, but she wouldn't come.
Well, I mean, she didn't come back for a couple days.
Yeah. And then when she finally came back, we brought her in and everything was fine until we realized she was pregnant. This cat that I was told was spayed was pregnant. Now, had I known she wasn't spayed, her little tushy would never have gone outside, no matter how angry I was.
But we are glad that she did. Because now we have our very first special pet. I mean, I'm not going to say Dude wasn't, but Dude wasn't really ours at first.
No, and she never was.
No.
Yeah, she never bonded
really
with
didn't
us.
care about us. But she had a litter of kittens underneath, I believe it was your dresser.
It was underneath my dresser.
And so, but I mean, all these kittens were cute. They were cuddly. They were noisy. They were playing. But we had this one special one that we named Peanut.
Because he was
We thought Peanut was a she, actually.
Yes.
That's what we named.
And she was the runt.
Named him Peanut. I mean, I think it was the first trans cat, to be honest with you. But I didn't know anything. We didn't know anything until I was working one night. I used to work evening shifts. And Big Mama would call, right? And she'd be like, "Hey, when you get home, you have to have a talk with your son." I'm like, "Son? What are you talking about?" Well, she found out that night because I guess he got excited.
Yeah, he was sitting on my lap and I was petting him and I looked down and there was a red rocket staring at me and I went, "Oh my God!" And I'm like, "What the crap? Our little girl is a boy."
Yep. So, I mean, that's how we got Peanut, but Peanut was my, at that time was my favorite. We were always together,
He loved you.
We loved each other. Yeah. And he was one of the best cats ever. But then we had, I can't think of, who was our second? We've had a lot of pets. And
a lot of strays that came to us that we kind of took care of, but wasn't really ours. The next one would be Buster.
Didn't we have some at, we didn't have any at one place, did we?
Just Peanut.
But we ended up having a lot of rabbits at this one place.
Yeah,
a lot of wild bunnies.
Because my lovely family found some baby bunnies in a little hole in the yard and decided to bring them inside.
Well, this is how it happened. I was cutting grass, all right, and I seen the hole, all right, and I'm thinking to myself, and I seen actually there were little babies in the ground. I seen those, and I'm like, oh, I can't tell the kids. So I went inside. I told Mama, and I'm like, Mama, we got some little babies out there, and I think the kids heard me at the time.
Yeah.
And they were really young, 5-ish, 6-ish, whatever.
Yeah, they went running outside.
They went outside and they put them in a box and brought them in the house. And then we left. This long story short, actually, we went away one day. We came back and we had a Peanut and another cat, I believe it was, and they were chasing the rabbits all over the house.
Yeah, and we never found them all.
We found them all dead, but one. We didn't find that one.
Well, interesting animal story too. In that house
Yes,
was the possum.
possum and
One
just
night, one evening, the cats are in the kitchen, like stalking in front of the kitchen cabinets, and we're like, "What? Would you get out of the kitchen? You know you don't belong in here. Go!" And finally, I opened the cabinet. They're like, "Look, see, there's nothing," and there was something
there's
there.
a white possum,
It
baby
was a
possum.
baby
Baby
white
possum.
possum curled up in the corner of the cabinet, just snoozing
You
away.
slam the door shut.
And I slammed it shut, and I was like, "Get the cats and the kids upstairs. We don't know if it's got rabies or if it's got mother's gonna come get it or." So after trying to like come up with a way to, okay, we knew we could just, because what it was is the house had a crawl space.
Yeah,
And around the pipe that came up to the sink, they left the hole extra wide,
yeah.
which was not smart.
You could fit a bunch of babies in there.
And so what I did was I took a milk jug and cut it in half, and then put it around around the hole so that nothing else could climb up. After you got the broom and shooed the baby possum back down the hole, because I was like, now how do we keep him coming back up there? And that's when I came up with my genius milk jug contraption thing.
Yeah.
But that scared the crap out of me. I was not expecting to open the
Peanut was
cabinet.
correct.
Yes, he was always a very good stalker.
Yeah.
Yes, he was very good.
Until he had uncontrollable eating habits, and then he just got really, really big.
Yeah, he did. But after that, we moved,
Yeah.
and we were able to have more pets.
We had this one pet named Squeaker.
Oh, my little Squeaky.
You know, was he a little Chihuahua? What was he?
He was a
I
miniature,
forget what he was.
like Chihuahua slash.
We didn't have him very long.
No, we couldn't, because when we got him, we didn't know we were gonna have to move.
Yeah.
And where we were moving to, we weren't even supposed to have Peanut, but we kind of,
The landlord lady said it was fine,
yeah, as long as her husband didn't know about
and
it.
he never came in the house.
No.
But Peanut was easy to hide.
And he was so good. He didn't make messes or scratch anything up or anything like that. He was just super good. But Squeaker, he was just this little tiny, like, yappy, happy guy, and like literally would sit in both your hands. That was like how big he was. And it broke because I've always wanted a little dog.
Mhm.
I never had a lap dog. All my dogs were
He
big.
used to sleep in between our heads on the pillow too.
Yes. And he was just, the sweetest little thing. And we had to give him away to someone that you used to work with.
The worker, yeah. And I don't know whatever happened to him. So,
But I was so sad about that. But then we
I
moved.
want to believe that Squeaker grew up, had a family, and hopefully he's still alive. I don't think he is, but hopefully he is. Because this was almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
So if he's alive, he's really old.
But then when we moved into a place that was ours,
Yep.
and we could have what we wanted, we had these next door neighbors who were weird,
Yes.
but
But it wasn't them.
they had friends who had these puppies, and for some reason they were staying in a pen outside the neighbor's house, and all of the puppies got taken except one, and it was the runt. We always end up at the runt, and this dog didn't look like the other ones. The other ones looked pit bull.
Yeah.
They were half pit and half something
I
else.
think hound or something, because Buster looked like more hound than pit.
Yeah. And my youngest Lizard comes in from next door, and she's like, "Mom, if they don't find a house for that little dog, they're going to drown it." And I went, "What?"
Now let me tell you my side of the story here quick. Right, I wasn't home when all this happened. I was, I guess, work or somewhere. I was shopping somewhere. But I come home, and our car at the time died going into the entrance of the place we're living at. And the neighbor boy came down, and he helped me push the car up the hill, up to our driveway. He said, "Oh, by the way, you have a dog." And I'm like, okay. I'm like, when? And he told me the story. And I come home, and I wasn't happy because I like to be part of the situations. But I mean, I understood, and I don't want to see. I don't want to see the puppy die. I don't want to see anybody die. You know, and people like that shouldn't have animals or kids.
I
To be
agree.
honest, people like that shouldn't breed at all, or have any puppies or
Nothing alive.
Nothing, exactly. Not even fish. And so that pisses me off when I hear people do that kind of stuff. But then we kept Buster. He wasn't Buster at the time, but that's what we named him.
Yeah.
But he ended up being one of the hardest puppies to train.
Well, he had really bad separation anxiety. And he was an awesome little dog when we were home.
He had some skin.
But that was later.
Yeah.
But every time we would leave the house, he would destroy anything he could get to.
Yeah.
We had just bought a brand new Wii for Christmas for the kids. And he chewed up the Wii bar that picks the sensor that picks up the Wii controllers. And I could have killed him.
Yeah, we're not going to get that story because...
No, but that was our fault because we knew he had issues and we shouldn't have left it out for him.
But then a couple weeks later, then we were like maybe a couple months later, we went to a friend's house for like a Memorial Day or July 4th celebration. And we didn't trust him running around the house. So what do? We're smart people, but this wasn't a smart move. We put him in our bedroom and shut the door. And we come home to a sewer on our bed.
Well, on your side of the bed.
Yeah, basically on my side. Yeah, we got along like Beethoven. And so, yeah, I really wanted to get rid of him. But long story short, we kept him, which I was glad we did.
For a really, really long
time. And then he ended up being Mallow's pet. So when she moved out, she took him with her. But he still remains at that place that they stayed.
Yeah, he used to live out in the country.
He's got a big yard, and he's living life right now, so that's good. But on to our next. I'm not sure who was after Buster. Was it
Whiskers?
Oh, I think Whiskers was
maybe.
Yeah, Whiskers. No, Whiskers was after because
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, it was around that time.
Yeah.
I was at a restaurant. I was working, and one of the coworkers came up and said she had kittens, and I said I'll take it. This is a long story short. It wasn't that quick. And so she brought it to work one day, and now Whiskers is still here.
And she is 15.
And she's 15, and she's a lizard's personal pet. Yes,
that's her support animal.
Yeah, and then she was really ornery at first. A regular cat. I think cats actually, as they get older, they become nicer. They become friendlier. Because Peanut was the same way.
I think they just have less energy to be angry.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she looks angry.
She has resting bitch face constantly.
Yeah, she doesn't act angry, but yeah, she's doing really well, and we never really had we had issues with her, but we never had issues where like Buster issues.
No, that's not true because the reason we got rid of her 3 times.
True. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because she detested me from the moment she walked in the door, and anytime
you're a dog person.
Well, I love cats if they like me. I'm not going to follow them around and beg them to like me.
We technically are dog people.
Well, yeah. But anything of mine, she would find. If I left a sweater, like a jacket or something on a chair, she would pull it off the chair and pee on it. And if any of you have ever had a cat pee on something, that don't come out.
It stays forever.
Forever, no matter how much you wash it. It's like as soon as it gets a little bit damp, you smell like cat pee, and I don't want to be the cat pee lady. And so the first time I gave her to a friend of mine, right? And she was happy there. They did well. But then something happened, I don't remember what, but she brought her back.
Was it the one that Buster liked?
Yeah.
Friend? Yeah.
Yes, very much. Yes, he got so excited he peed on her leg. And then the second time, when it continued happening, I put it on Facebook. I was like, hey, anybody want a free cat? She's not a bad cat. She just needs a good home. She's not doing well here. And that guy kept her for literally 12 hours, called us the next day and said, she's not happy here. You need to take her back.
She kept making noise. She kept crying for a lizard.
Yeah. And so that was the second time. And I'm not going to lie, I feel bad about this. It was not my finest moment. I am human. I've made many mistakes. But I got really mad at her after she just kept going after my stuff.
It was a personal thing. It was a vendetta.
It really was. And no matter what I tried to do to keep my stuff out of her reach, she would find a way to get to it.
Yeah.
And I threw her outside.
But she came back.
But yeah, it was like, a month later? we heard one of the kids heard meowing under our shed, and she was under there, and she was all like pitiful and
In that, but she's been
And she's-
awesome since.
yeah, maybe the third time of being like, look, bitch,
Yep.
you have to stop this.
Now, in between all those pets that we just talked about, we did have some others. You know, we had a princess and some other. Well, no, princess was actually from Angel, right? Way back.
They were litter mates.
That was way back. That was before us.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. Yeah. Just forget that one. That's not our pets. But no, we had cats. We had other cats in between there. Because I remember we had other puppies too. That was with
Well, we had Sasha, but she
Yeah.
ran away or got stolen.
Sasha was awesome.
Yeah, she was so
But
sweet.
she'll be honorable mention. But we had another honorable mention we had before we get on for our other pets. We had a rabbit that lasted 24 hours or something like that.
The kids found a little baby rabbit outside
It was
by itself.
No, it was actually a neighbor brought it over.
A neighbor kid,
Neighbor
yeah.
brought it over.
Because everybody knew that I was the animal whisperer, and
Had a
every
little
time
bit-
there was an animal in the neighborhood, the kids would bring it to our house.
Yeah.
And poor little thing, I tried. I did everything I could to help it thrive, but it just passed. But it passed in my arms
And we put
It was
out on the
saved.
pet cemetery.
and loved, and it was.
We also had a duck.
We had a little baby duck
Yeah.
that
I
got.
just remember that.
I think it got flooded out of its nest because it was during really heavy rains, and it was just kind of sitting out in a puddle.
We had it for a few days.
And yeah, we had it for a few days, and then I left the children alone with it I had to go to run some errands, and I came back,
I
and
think a cat had something.
I
like that.
think a cat got
I
at
think
it.
maybe it was Whiskers.
Probably. 'Cause she
We had
really-
Whiskers then. But no, I mean, I forgot about the duck, but yeah, the duck was awesome. But we had, now we go to our main pets now.
So we've got, at this point,
We're at the
we're,
softball league.
we still have Whiskers.
Mhm.
We have Peanut. We had Buster at the time.
Yep.
And then,
Did we get Rascal at that time?
no, then we got Mama.
Mama, Autumn.
Mhm.
Yes.
Originally, we called her Autumn. The girls named her Autumn. But eventually, I mean, she became my cat almost
Yeah.
immediately.
Yeah.
And she would follow me around and sit in my lap. And
And we won't talk about her very much, but
no, it's okay. It's just, she was my baby. And I mean, it was awful what happened.
here's a little tip. If your pets have fleas or anything, don't use the flea and tick stuff that they buy at the store that could kill your pets. Use Dawn dish soap.
That's what we use now.
Because we didn't know our cat,
They
our
had-
inside cat
Yeah.
had, because all of our animals are inside, by the way. We don't have any outside. But we didn't. She might have had a cut somewhere, but we bathed her with a flea bath, and
The
it
next
was
day,
very sad. It was very
she
sad.
died.
Yeah.
And I would devastate. Like, it's hard for me still
That's why I said we should skip it.
to talk about her because I killed her and I didn't mean to.
No, you didn't. You didn't know anything about the.
I didn't.
But we also had guinea pigs. You know.
Oh my gosh, our little
Pika,
pig.
Piku, Pookie, Piku,
It was-
Peekaboo.
Mallow wanted a guinea pig for the longest time. And
We ended
so,
up with 3.
and she wanted a specific one, white and black, for some Pokemon character, I think. But the only one they had was this little girl.
They
one.
had 2 actually, and they said you can't have that one because she's pregnant. So we took the other one,
That's right.
and I think what happened is
They
they were
switched
either
them.
both pregnant or they told us the wrong one.
And so we bring this little baby home, and it was so cute. And then one day I'm doing some stuff in the kitchen, and I hear this, Mom, come here quick. And I'm like, oh my God, somebody's dying. So I run back to their room, or to Mallow's room, and she's like, Mom, look, what is that? And there's these little tiny 2 fuzzballs
Mm-hmm.
sitting in the cage.
Yep.
And
Look like hairballs.
little Pika had babies. And I was just like, oh my God, now we have 3.
We had Bandit, and what was the other one's name?
Poku.
Poku and Bandit. Yeah.
And you can tell that our children named them because they're terrible
Yes,
namers.
they're horrible names.
But one of the babies was a black and white one, exactly like she had wanted.
That was Bandit, I believe.
Yes, because black and white. And they Pika, the mom, ended up having, and I didn't know what this was either. It just, she never really grew. Most guinea pigs get nice and long and chunky and all that stuff, but she just never grew. And
She died a little bit later.
she had like a vitamin deficiency or something. I guess some guinea pigs have, and she passed, which was really sad.
And then eventually the other guinea pigs passed.
Well,
too.
they lived a good life. They lived a long
like
life.
a couple years.
Yeah,
You know,
their
I think
lifespan.
the lifespan is about 5 years. Something like it's not very long.
Yeah, Poku passed first, and then Bandit was the last one.
Yeah, for like a month, I was doing a lot of digging in the pet cemetery for.
Yeah,
it was really a bad
It
month.
was a bad 6 months there because Peanut passed too, not far after that.
Yeah, and then it was really sad. But I mean, when you have all the pets that we've had, and we're not even done yet. That unfortunately that stuff happens. It's life, you know.
And no matter how much it rips your heart out,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I swore after what happened with Mama, I would never have another cat. I just didn't think anyone.
We're not there yet.
We're not there yet, but I'm just saying, I swore I would never, for me, have a cat.
Well, the next one I believe is Rask.
Yes.
Right? We had this league that you're going to hear about down the road. We had this girl softball league. Well, one of the players on our team, she needed somebody to take her dog, right? Her little puppy. So she brought him to practice, and we just fell in love with him. And long story short, he's laying on Liz's bed as we speak. You know, his name's Rascal. He's a pure Chihuahua. He's probably the best. And I really hate when people give Chihuahuas, you know, say bad things about them, because it's not true. That's just a myth with certain ones. Not all Chihuahuas are yappy.
Yeah, he's not the little shivery, short-haired Chihuahua. He's the full-size, long-haired, real full Chihuahua.
Very loyal and very loving.
And
Chihuahua.
very protective. You know, he just wants to be loved. That's it. He loves everybody.
But we also had him with Buster at the same time, so they were friends. Oh no, it was a Peanut. It wasn't Buster.
All of them.
It was all of them together
for a while.
Yeah. So but then we moved, and we Peanut passed. Buster moved with Mallow. So then we just had Rascal and Whiskers.
That was it.
And then who was next? Was it Molly?
Matilda.
Yes, Matilda was a stray cat that we took in. She was actually laying
underneath the house next door.
Yep. And I seen her, and I'm like, I'm not going to say nothing to the kids, just like the rabbits.
But then the kids heard her meowing. And she comes in and she's like, Mom, I think there's a little kitten over there next door, and I can't get it to come to me. I'm like, well, how about this? I was joking. I was like, if you can get it to come to you, you can keep it.
And what happened? Matilda came right to Liz.
Matilda came right to
Mallow, that's right. But
and then and Mallow was not living with us at the time. She was living with friends. She had been moved out and had her little foray into being, you know, a big adult out in the real world. And so the cat, you know, it was her cat, but she paid for her stuff and everything, but she stayed here with us because where she was living, unbeknownst to me at the time, was not a good place for animals, much less people.
She did have another cat before that, though, that went with her and Buster to that house. I forget what that cat. What was it? Was it Willow?
Yeah.
Willow. Yes.
But I don't know what happened with that.
Well, no, I mean, I believe I like to think that her and Buster are still living at that place.
As far as
we know, they are.
Yeah, we do a random check-in sometimes, and everything's all
But
good.
there's another honorable mention. Sorry.
Yes. But they brought her in, and we kept her for a while, and then whenever Mallow moved back in, it was so obvious that that's her baby.
Yeah.
I mean, they were meant for each other.
And long story short, she's here as we
Still
speak.
a healthy, happy, chunky 4-year-old.
And then we got our Molly May.
My man.
You know, what happened was they had a friend.
Lizard had a friend whose uncle had a Chiweenie who had babies. And
I believe Molly
for
was
some reason, I'm not quite sure, But she'd sent me pictures of them, and I was like, she's like, there's a black one and there's a brown one. It's kind of red. And I'm like, I don't want the black one. And so
You picked the right one.
I didn't even see a picture of that one, because she couldn't send the pictures through or something. And so they drop by that night, and Lizard brings this little tiny ball of happy puppy to me, and I mean, she's not left my side since.
Yeah.
She's always like sitting and looking at me, or when we're in here doing our podcast,
She's trying to get on her laps.
yeah. I mean, she just, if I'm in the bathroom, she's in the bathroom. She is literally like on my heels all the time. But she is just so sweet. She loves everybody in the house. She goes
I have a bad bone in her body.
when Mallow works late, she waits up until she gets home and makes sure that she's all right. If anybody's having a bad day or upset, she can feel it, and she'll go right to that person and stick to them like glue.
Yeah.
So she's like the biggest empath for a dog I've ever seen in my life.
We also had fish.
Well,
Some more audible mentions.
yeah, lots and lots of fish, because we had guppies and they reproduce like crazy.
I
And
just
then
wanted to throw that in there.
lastly, our last little baby, which I never thought I would ever have happen again to me, is Eloise, who we call Ellie. And then sometimes Beanie, because she has these tiny, cute little baby beans. And yeah.
How'd you get her again?
We went to look at a house, because again, I think I mentioned that we live in a really, really tiny house. And then after Mallow moved back in, it got even smaller. So we've been looking for a place for all of us that we can afford, and ended up driving so far. I had no idea how far this place was to look at this house.
I was working. I wasn't with them.
Yeah, so it was me and Lizard, and we drive all the way down to BFE and get to this house, and it is just, they lied in the ad. They said it was,
They use filters.
no, they just straight up lied. They said there was like 3.5 bedrooms or something, or 3 rooms and a bonus room, and the bonus room was the freaking dining room.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how is that a bonus? But anyway, it just wasn't for us. But in the bathroom, in the tub, was a litter of kittens. The mother of the kittens was outside on the porch, and this poor little skinny cat, I mean, she looked like she had no fucks to give. Did not have any interest in them babies, or at least when we were there. Because most of the time, if you have kittens and the mom's around and they're strangers, she's going to be protecting her babies. Nope, did not care. And so we go in there, and I'm like, oh, look at them, aren't they cute? Yeah, because I'm like, okay, after Mama, me and cats, I just don't even look at them the same way. But I walk in there, and then we're talking and saying how cute they are, and underneath all the other kittens comes this tiny little ball of fur.
With her eyes all matted shut.
Her eyes all matted shut, and she's nothing but skin and bones. And she goes and starts screaming at me. This little tiny thing. I mean, you wouldn't imagine the loud noise that came out of her. Meow, meow. And as soon as I walked out, dead silence. Liz walks in there. Nothing. I walk back in the room. Meow, meow, meow. And I'm like, huh. I was like, that's really, really cute. Really cute. And plus she's a little calico, which is just, she's beautiful. So I'll finish looking in the house, walk out, we're getting ready to get in the car, and Lizard goes, so you going to ask about the cat? And I'm like, you are Satan on my shoulder. Where's the angel when I need one? Your dad's going to kill me. And I'm like, all right, ask them how old they are and see if they're ready to leave their mom. Because I thought for sure they were, because she was half the size of her siblings, and she was super tiny. And, yeah, they were like, yeah, they're like 5 weeks old, and if we don't get rid of them by next week, we got to take them to the pound, and they'll just put them down. And I'm like,
just that easy. Just, somebody just said that like nonchalant, like, oh, we'll just put them down.
Yeah, and I was just like, you cannot kill that little baby.
That's a bunch of crap. Yeah.
So I was like, let's go grab the baby.
And they come to my work, all right? And I expected you anyway.
Yeah, we dropped by Big Papa's work and showed, and I was like, don't be mad at me. And I was like, look.
I thought she was holding a rat.
And I was like, look. And I hold up her little face with
her matted eyes.
Yeah, poor little eyes, and just so skinny and little. And he was like, okay. And I was like, oh, okay. I'm not going to get murdered today. This is a good thing.
Long story short, she's over a year old now
Yep. She just turned a year old
Yep.
and she is big, beautiful, and rotten.
and healthy.
And she, as you will see, she thinks she's a flower and she likes to sit in dirt and like flower pots
So we've got plenty of pictures.
and kill all my plants.
Now, we didn't have, not everything was peaches and cream with these animals. With these
Oh
pets.
gosh, no.
You know, Rascal one, we thought Rascal had, was that Parvo?
Parvo.
Yeah.
He
And,
got really, really sick twice.
And we spent thousands of dollars on all of our fur babies.
Especially Buster. He had that ear surgery and his horrible skin problem and his anxiety
Molly wasn't
medicine.
hydrated or something, right? She had worms when we first got her.
Oh my gosh, this little tiny baby and worms 1.5 feet long coming out of her. Terrible. It was just,
I
like-
mean, it wasn't all, you know.
but
peaches and
thankfully,
cream.
Mama knows how to fix them up.
And we didn't have the money to actually take Rascal to the vet to get.
Well, no, I did. I did take him to the vet and had the parvo test done, and it was
You
negative.
called them.
I did call, and they were like, "Well, if we have to treat him, it's $2,500 deposit. That's just a deposit." And I'm like, "Who the hell has that kind of money just hanging around?"
Yeah.
You know? And I'm like, "You're crazy." So I was like, I Googled everything I could on how to, every 20 minutes, force the
And-
liquids and the.
And for our listeners,
Yeah.
right? What did you do to help? What was the cure to help Rascal?
I would make what they said to use
Rice water.
which it gets like the carbohydrates and stuff and whatever in the liquid, and then you, because obviously he was too weak to drink, so like I would get like a little syringe and like squirt it down his throat so that he would get like continue getting calories and fluids and things. Pedialyte was a big one, replacing electrolytes. I mean, I sat up with him for 2 straight days, every 15-20 minutes, force feeding him. Like, I would take wet food and mush it up with some of the rice water, make it like super liquidy, and put that down his throat.
It was months of this, wasn't
Well, that whole part was about a week. The first 2 or 3 days was really touch and go, where I was up with him 24/7. He slept on my chest the entire time. Like, we didn't move. Well, I mean, we moved, but like he stayed on me. Because what happened with Mama and Peanut is they waited for us to go to sleep, and then they died. And so I got very, very paranoid that if I went to sleep and left him alone, he would die in the night. And so I didn't put him down.
But I mean, knock on wood,
Again, that was like 10 years ago.
yeah, he's laying on Lizard's bed there, and everything's good to go.
He's a very, very happy, confident little man.
But if any listeners out there, if you have any pet stories,
Please, I love pet stories or pictures.
fur baby stories, I like to call them fur babies. I
Yes.
keep calling them animals. I don't like calling them that. So there are fur babies. I don't like calling dogs either. I mean, like the place I work at, the tenants take their dogs out for a walk. They come back in to my office. I give them puppy treats, and I call them puppies, even though they're not puppies. They're full-grown dogs, but I still like calling them puppies.
Well, yeah. And they're all somebody's baby.
Exactly. And then every one of them come in and get a treat, and they know where their office is because they lead their owner to it.
It's like, let's go get a treat now. I did my walk.
Yeah. And some of them get one before they go, depending. But I mean, if any of you all out there listening have any like stories that you want us to know, have any questions for Mama about the different like the cures that she's had for Rascal with his parvo, and for Mama, or for not Mama, but for Molly with her worms. If you have any issues out there and you need some clarity, you need some help, you can always message us.
Yeah, totally. And if you want to share pictures of your sweet little babies,
Your pictures.
I love to see the pictures. So, okay, right now we have the 5.
Yep.
We have, in order of age, Whiskers, who's 15, Rascal, who's 10, Matilda, who's 4, Molly, who's
4. She's about 3 or 4.
That's right. I'm sorry. Matilda's 5.
And Molly's 4.
Molly's 4.
And Ellie
Is 1.
Mhm.
So, but Whiskers is Lizard's baby, and Matilda is Malo's baby, and the
The
other
rest are
3
ours.
just kind of love everybody.
Yeah.
But they're really our babies. They sleep in our bed,
Yeah.
and yeah, they're very
They
rotten.
take up most of the room.
And I hope you enjoy their photos. Some of them are from when they're tinies, and some of them are from now and all the way through for the ones we have pictures of. So I hope you enjoy those. And I guess that's it for this time, you guys. We will see you again next time here at Big Mama's house. Bring your friends, and y'all be safe out there.
Be safe.
Bye.